Oh. Nice and smooth. Flaming jump ropes, skydiving with no parachute, and the real-life Spider-Man? What? Today we are breaking down and reacting to some of the most dangerous stunts the internet has ever seen. But disclaimer, do not try to attempt or recreate anything seen in this video. All right, let's dive right in. Oh my gosh, so spinning, going upside down, all of you have like done something to where you spin and your equilibrium gets off. And it just has to do with the fact that what you're perceiving, what you're seeing, how your body's reacting to it, the fluid that's moving within your semicircular canals within your ear, which has to do with proprioception, is just a little bit off. Oh, whoa. Okay, he's being safe at least and like aiming wide. He's probably practiced this a lot. If the knife missed and actually impaled, what do? You don't pull it out right away. You get to the hospital ASAP, you stabilize it, and the biggest things you worry about is the underlying structures that you're hitting. So it all depends where you're hitting. Is it hitting just soft tissue, through the skin, the subcutaneous fat and muscle, or are you hitting any underlying organs, major blood vessels? Nice and smooth. Riding a motorcycle is obviously dangerous, and we see a lot of people who get injuries all the way from just scrapes and skin abrasions all the way to death, unfortunately. Biggest things, obviously, the injuries that has to do with the landing. Midair, you can lose the bike, and the bike could land on you. Then the other component is landing just on the bike, the compressive forces. You increase your risk of having compressive fractures, and a lot of times the compressive fractures that we see are in your vertebrae in the back. The vertebral bodies actually collapse down and compress. And then the other things, obviously, with any motorcycle injuries, and a lot of people ride out there, are extremity injuries. So breaking your wrist or tib fib or your femur is quite common. Oh, I like the music. What we got? Whoa, 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 whoa. So you're on a wooden apparatus and the car hits the wood and destroys the wood. That wood could splinter off and actually impale you, hit into you, could go in your eye. Like if I was doing this or was around as a medical professional, I'd make sure that somebody wears eye protection. You don't realize, like, as you're flipping and the wood is breaking, a splinter can go right into your eye. And I've seen people literally have wood impaled through the eye, the globe of the eye, and have to have surgery to get it out, or they lose their vision totally. If he actually gets hit by this car, a lot of things can happen. Simply just have a hematoma or contusion, or you can die. Crack your head open, you have internal bleeding, you have bleeding in your brain, you can sever your spinal cord. There's so many different things that you could do.
Jumpers are away, jumpers are off. Now he's practicing the flip. That's how he'll have to land. He'll have to land on his back. At 18,000 feet, the oxygen mask will come off.
What? So crazy. Oh, there's a flip. Woo! Wow. He has to wear a helmet to help with breathing because of how high he's falling from. And then I'm assuming the temperatures are colder up there as well. Had to fall flipping on his back. So the question is, why does he need to do that? And it probably has to do with just being able to not injure his extremities as he's falling. Because if he were to free fall and land on his face, one, he might get stuck. The other, his arms might kind of bend backwards. Same with the legs, as well as he might actually have an extension injury of his back as he lands in the net and folds down, versus the other way around. You land on your back and you fold in, which is much safer. Oh my gosh. Those brakes is something.
He's fighting the G-forces from flinging him into the old timbers.
They're talking about G-forces. G-forces is gravitational forces. Sometimes people are sensitive to them and you can actually pass out. And so if you actually pass out from the G-forces on this, you're gonna go limp and then there's gonna be disaster. So a lot of videos out there where people are handling G-forces and it looks like it actually ages them. And it has to do with having so much pressure on your body and then not getting enough blood flow up to your brain, and that's why you pass out. Things that I worry about is, one, ankle fractures, dislocations, knee dislocations. We get people who get knee dislocations, very much worry about the vasculature behind the knee, and we'll typically have to do a CT angiogram to make sure that the vessels are intact and not ruptured or ripped. Why do this? I mean, it looks cool, I guess. So the things I worry about is the hair is flopping around. That can catch fire pretty easy. Face can catch on fire, which then you always worry about airway compromise. If somebody has any type of burns near their face, we always look for soot in the nose or the posterior pharynx, which is the back of the throat, because that's an indication that the fire got into your airway, which increases your risk of having a swollen airway, which increases your risk of having a airway that's going to close shut, and we need to watch and observe you. Oh, fancy pants. Oh, what happened? If you're going at speed and you fall on this and you're landing on that plastic, you're gonna get the worst skin burn ever. Treatment for that typically is just bacitracin or ointment and cover it up. I guess it's a lot harder than you think. Whoa. And into the pool. A lot of times people will fall down on a BMX bike. The things you worry about is getting stuck in the pegs. You get the peg that actually hits you in the leg, which can cause bad lacerations. You can actually snap a tib fib pretty easily. The other things you always worry about, if you actually get the handlebars hit into the epigastric area, you can actually cause some hematomas to your duodenum, part of your small intestines, and that can cause a significant amount of injuries.
All along my life, I have always been climbing cliffs, climbing mountains, climbing buildings. And then now I have climbed over 120 buildings around the world.
Typically what ends up happening when people climb, they use their upper extremities too much and they fatigue their arms out. They're engorged with so much blood, and then the function of them significantly decreases. If he falls and the harness doesn't work, he's dead.
And I came out a week later with this circle of photographers, tons of fans and everything, like for blocks.
So first off, I'm hoping that the plexiglass is strong enough to withstand all the pressure on top.
And blocks, and it was kind of like, you know, wow.
I suffered. Together smiling, and that made all of this worth it.
And it was an emotional moment for me.
So I believe he was getting water, and obviously he's getting oxygen, because if you had no oxygen in there, you would die. You can go a long period of time without eating as long as you're getting hydrated. Where is he peeing and where is he pooping? You know, the other things you think about is just the psychological component of being confined to an area, no interactions with individuals, and no place to move. So he's probably had specific training to be able to calm his mind in situations that are stressful like this. Dangerous stunts, people putting themselves at risk for your entertainment and for them to succeed at a task that they want to do. Please be careful. Make sure that there's medical staff around when you do this. And if you guys enjoyed this, please let me know in the comments that you want to see more. Also, make sure you binge watch this playlist right here. Make sure you subscribe, turn your bell notifications on, and hit that like button. Thank you so much for watching, and stay healthy, my friends.